I thought it was just a few months ago that I've showed everybody the plugins that I use on a daily basis. But it turns out that that was already 1.5 years ago. And in that time, a lot of things have changed. And the most important thing is that I'm now running on an Apple Silicon Mac Mini with the Apple M1 in there. So let's take a look at which plugins have survived that transition. Alright, so I'm running Reaper and I'm running the beta version, which is the ARM beta. So Reaper is already, well, native on Apple Silicon, and I don't know why they are still calling it a beta, because it doesn't really feel beta, it just works. Let's open my plugin dialog and let's take a look. And we're first going to take a look at the VST3 plugins, which are the ones that have native Apple Silicon support as well. And compared to last year's video, if you take a closer look at it, there is a lot of change. Of course, the FabFilter bundle is still in here, and the ones that I use, and I can show you guys this. I have these all on shortcuts on my Stream Deck. That's how often I use them. It's literally every day. I don't think there is a single session in which I do not have the Pro Q. So that's my most used plugin. Like endgame, all Pro Q3 in every single session that I do. There is at least one Pro Q, but usually on a lot of channels there is a Pro Q. Now I do have a lot of analog EQs, of course, but I mean this one is so refined. You can do everything with it. I'm also starting to use more and more a mid-side processing on certain signals, on master buses, on that kind of stuff. Other ones that I have, do I really need to show them all because we are quite familiar with the FabFilter bundle. But yeah, let's just do the most important ones. The C, the compressor, of course. Yeah, that's what it needs to do. It works, it's from FabFilter. On the other hand, it's nothing special, but maybe that's the whole deal with it. It's very versatile. Pro DS, which if you ask me is like the best de-esser there is. What you need to keep in mind is that there is a big difference in detection algorithm between all-round and single vocal. And if you have it on single vocal, you can just drag the threshold all the way down. You don't really have to search for a threshold. You can just drag it down, and with the range knob, you determine how much it is going to duck the S's. And of course you have to select the correct frequency band, but it has a very kind of intelligent way of knowing where the S's are. So I really love the Pro DS a lot. Pro G, never really use it, but it's a bundle. That's the thing. So you install a lot of them, and Pro G, never really use it. Pro L2, of course, on my master bus. It's my favorite, and I think my only limiter that I use in my sessions. A really cool one. I almost always use it on modern. Not a lot that I can say. I like the fact that it has a built-in LUFS meter. You can never have enough of those. Pro MB, of course, multiband. Again, I love the interface. I love the way this works. My master multiband compressor. Yeah. That's where I use it for. Saturn 2, of course. Don't use it that often. Most of the times when I need distortion, I use analog equipment. And what I do is tape machine, I have the Illusia character, I have the magnetismus, and what I can also do is just drive the Neumann console at a very high level. But I mean, very high level. It's very difficult to distort a Neumann, but if it distorts, it's very unique distortion. Next up is the Timeless 3. It's out for a month or something. It's already my favorite delay plugin. I prefer this delay on top of analog delays or like redelay, which I always used or used a lot. And it's because of the simplicity. It's a very advanced plugin, but it's so easy and quick to set up, and it's so easy to get a certain sound. Like, you have to play with this thing if you buy it or demo it for half an hour in order to know what is going on. And from there, it's super easy. Like, you already hear in your head, like, okay, I want this, and then Timeless 3 on it. There you go. It's done. Like, you just know what you need to do. Really great delay plugin, and right now also the number one that I'm using. And that's it for FabFilter. Then next up is the Melda Production free bundle. These are all the plugins from the free bundle, and I just installed them all. I still have to, go through all of those plugins. The main reason why I installed it because I was looking for one plugin, and Melda Productions had that one for free and was also supported on Apple Silicon. So that is why I got the Melda bundle. If we now go to our VST list, we see a lot more plugins. These are plugins that most of the times are not native on Apple Silicon. One of those is the Cram RC, Cram. Like, it's a German product, so you would say it's Cram, because in Holland we would also say Cram. But maybe it's just cream. Anyway, that one is not native, at least not right now, native on Apple Silicon. But I also do not use the remote that often. I actually never use it. It's just quicker to make a picture. Next one, and this is something that I apparently couldn't live without. I thought I could, but I just can't live without a good alpha compressor. So yeah, this is the Illusia Alpha compressor. It's very high on my wish list, but there are some other things that first need investments. But I really would like to have an analog one, and it's very interesting to see how they did the plugin of this one, because it's very true to the original. I know the original because I've used it a few times, actually at the Illusia factory, just to play with it. I didn't do serious production with it, but it's just an amazing compressor, and I would love to have it. You would say like, okay, you have the Pro C for all your compression, but yeah, this one is different, is really different. So yeah, but it's not native on Apple Silicon. This means, and this is something that I'm seeing, and you can see it over here as well, by the way, like it's pretty high in CPU consumption. Like if I go to a Pro C to compare, like there's barely any CPU usage. And in audio, it's about more than just CPU usage. It's about latency and that kind of stuff. In sessions where I have the alpha compressor on the master bus, I do run into some performance issues, because that's basically what it is. Then another one that I have is the loudness penalty by Meterplugs, which is this one. And this is just a live preview of the penalty that you're going to get on different streaming services. I made a video about that, I made a lot of videos about that. I'll link one of them over here. I don't know which one is the most relevant for this, but it's a live analysis and it's really cool. And of course, I'm also using the website loudnesspenalty.com for my integrated measurement, because that's something that, as far as I know, I can't do with this plugin. I can do it, but it takes a lot of time then. Also not Apple Silicon native, but it doesn't give any problems running this. Best is to run this on your Monitor FX bus, or like on a bus where it doesn't need the audio going through it. So you can configure it in such a way that it doesn't affect your audio, as a measurement device should do. And then, yeah, that's already almost it. It's really interesting how many plugins I do not have anymore. And this is like what I did with the reinstall of the system, is I just installed a plugin whenever I needed it, instead of just like, okay, this is my bundle, let's install it. No, and then you all of a sudden see like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that I've stopped using. Now, speaking of plugins that I'm not using anymore, RX8 is something that I'm slowly moving away from, but it's still like, it's very, I of course have the audio editor, so not really the plugins. It's like one of the best in the industry, but the direction the company is moving towards is not something that I'm supporting at this moment. I am very against, as I've told before, I'm against subscription models without updated software, and RX8 has given me a lot of problems running in Rosetta, which have been resolved, but I didn't update RX8, but I did update macOS. But I had random crashes and that kind of stuff on the RX8 in macOS 11.1 and 11.2. Now it does work 90% of the time, but that's not enough. I just want a reliable system. But on the other side, RX8 is one of the only good bundles like on this level when it comes to the audio processing and that kind of stuff. So it's not really something that I can move away from. Sample Grabber is from Flux. That's from my audio analyzer, which is also not native on Apple Silicon, but it does work really, really well. Here it is. Everybody keeps asking what analyzer I use, but it's a pure analyzer system from Flux Audio, or Flux Home, or what is their name? I actually think that there is a native version coming really soon, but it just, the only bug there is that I just have to reset my frequency range every time I start up the program. But apart from that, I'm using it on hardware input, just works. And then the last plugin in my bundle is the Vocal Synth. and that one is also very buggy. I had to use it for a client. He wanted a few effects on his vocals, and Vocal Synth is really good at that. But what I had with Vocal Synth was that it, the interface froze, and then I had to, quit it and sometimes reboot Reaper and then open it again, and then the interface worked again. Like those type of bugs, those are very annoying. But yeah, Vocal Synth is something that is just like incidentally used, and I've particularly installed it for that client. Now, those are all my plugins and audio apps. I tend to keep a very minimalistic approach to the plugins that I use because that is very handy in the future. Like if I need to open a session, I can just install the FabFilter bundle on every system and Reaper, and I know that 99% of my sessions will open and will play back and just will work. Some sessions do have the Illusia on the master bus, so you really need that one. I just like to have a very compact list of my plugins. It's just, the overview that it creates, and also the experience you create with those plugins. Like I have so much experience with the FabFilter bundle that it's now everything goes automatic for me. It's so much in my muscle memory. I do not need to think about it. I can be way more creative. Whereas you would have like a plugin bundle with more than 100 plugins or whatever. Are you really going to learn them all? And are you really going to build enough experience? It will take way more time. So I always try to distill only the best plugins and keep those one in my bundle. Then, as a bit of extra in this episode, a small overview of how my experience with Apple Silicon is going for professional studio usage. And, basically it's going really well. After 11.3, so the 11.3 Big Sur update, things are really fluent and things work really well. Before that, I had a lot of random crashes, like pink screen and then crash and then reboot, and then I have to shut down, turn everything off, turn everything on again. And that happened 3 or 4 times every day. So that was very exhausting. There were more users that had that problem, and specifically for me, that problem had to do with my AVB setup. The way that my Mac Mini connects to my interfaces over the audio-video bridging protocol. It's kind of like Dante, but it's not. I made a video about it. I'll link it over here. But it's kind of a special way, and it's an open protocol with native drivers from Apple. And I think there was a bug in that driver or something, because after 11.3, I didn't have those crashes anymore. But what I did have, and that's maybe a bug or something, it now takes longer to connect. So when I boot up my system in the morning, it takes up to 10 minutes before my devices show up. And it's just like the Mac is just idling, and then all of a sudden everything is connected and it works. Not a huge issue because in the morning I need to get coffee, and when it works, it keeps working. But it is something to look out for. I'm doing literally everything on the Apple Silicon. This video is also going to be edited on the M1 Mac Mini. So I'm doing everything except for the recording of the snake oil videos. The snake oil videos I still record on my old Mac Pro because that one has an Intel chip, and that one can run all the plugins that I'm trying to review, and I do not want to clutter my production system with plugins that I'm not going to use anymore. So it's good to have a separated system to record those videos on. And yeah, that's it. That's it for this video. That's it for my plugin bundle. I hope that I've inspired some of you to change your bundle, change your toolset, whatever. If so, let me know that in the comments below. I would really like to hear what you think. Also, if you have a plugin recommendation for you, if you were missing something in my bundle, also let me know in the comments down below. If you like my videos and like the independence of my channel, I can say whatever I want because it's my channel and I'm not being influenced by other companies. If you like and appreciate that, you might want to consider supporting me, and you can support me, for instance, by using my affiliate link. I've got a link to Thomann and Sweetwater, where you can, after clicking that link, buy something, and then a small percentage of your purchase price. You're not paying anything extra, but a small percentage gets kicked back to me. And well, all that support is buying my own time to make these videos. Now, another way to support me in a more direct way is on Patreon, the Patreon club over here. And on Patreon you get early access videos and Q&As and some other stuff, so check it out, it's all on Patreon. Last way to support me and the YouTube platform is by watching more videos. So I'll link one of my videos, of course, over here. So check it out. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, keep pushing, and bye-bye.